This video will discuss Chapter 8.3, Quadratic Equations, in the form of x squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Don't panic about the long title. We'll talk about kind of what all that means in just a moment. So first we're going to solve, or I guess we're going to simplify this expression x squared plus 9x plus 20. I'm going to show you a trick where you create an x. Okay, on the bottom of this x is going to be the number in front of this x squared, which as you remember is a 1, times the constant which is at the end. So I'm taking this number times that number. Now in this particular chapter this will always be a 1. So I'm going 1 times 20, and 1 times 20 is 20. And then taking this middle number, and I'm going to put that here, and that's positive 9. Okay, and so now what I'm looking for is the factors of 20 that have a sum of 9. So in other words, I'm going to kind of create first off the factors of 20. Okay, so if you know all the factors that would work. But what I'm looking for is two numbers when multiplied together give me this, when added together give me this. And that would be here. So this is going to be a 4, and this is going to be a 5. Okay, so in this particular chapter, and this is kind of keep in mind that this trick isn't going to work in the next video, I'm going to go x, and then I'm going to take this number, which is plus 4, and I'm going to then go x, I'm going to take this number, which is a positive 5, and I've got my factor. So I factored x squared plus 9x plus 20 into x plus 4 times x plus 5. Keep in mind that I've figured out that 1 times 20 is 20, and then I got the 9, so I'm looking for numbers that multiply to this and add to this, and that was the 4 and the 5. Okay, and then I'm going x, and because this is positive, we're going to talk about in a second what happens when it's negative. Because this is positive, it goes here. Because this one is positive, this is positive 5. The order of these two don't matter, so you also could have it written like this, and it would be just as correct. Okay, and so sometimes people, when you do these, we go 21, 10, 2, 5, and 4, and then you might have 5 here and 4 there, which would change the order here, and that won't matter. So either one of these two answers would be correct. Neither of them is more or less correct than the other. All right, now let's talk about what happens when the middle number is negative. So for example, this. So I'm going to again create my x. Remember that this is a 1. And so I'm taking this number times this number. 1 times 12 is 12. That's going here. And then I've got this middle number, but now remember the middle number is not 8. The middle number is negative 8. So this is where it gets a little interesting, because a lot of times people say, okay, well the factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. But your problem is that these two numbers multiplied together will give me this, but I can't add any of these numbers to get to the negative 8. So what I would need to do is make each of these negative, because by making them all negative, negative 1 times negative 12 will still give me positive 12. However, now when I add them together, I might actually be able to get to negative 8. Negative 2 times negative 6 will give me negative 12 when multiplied. When added, these will actually give me negative 8. And then as you can see, these two would still multiply to a positive 12, but would add to negative 8. So when you see that this number in the middle is negative, it means that both of these are going to have to be negative in order to keep this positive. So I know that this is the pair that works. So this is a negative 2 and a negative 6, which means I'm now going to go x, because this is an x, negative 2, so this is going to be minus 2, and then x, and this is a negative 6, so this is minus 6. So when I factor x squared minus 8x plus 12, it would factor to x minus 2 times x minus 6. And if you want to check your answer, which you could do, and I didn't do this on the first one, right, I could do FOIL, and you end up with x squared minus 6x minus 2x plus 12. And when I simplify this middle, it'll equal that. So I would have x squared, there's my minus 8x plus 12. All right, now what happens when the middle is positive, but the end is negative? So again, we're going to make our x. This is a 1. 1 times 15, negative 15 is negative 15. And then this is the number that I'm putting here, and that is a positive 2. So I need two numbers that when multiplied together give me negative 15, but when added together would give me a positive 2. So you might have something like 1, or I guess negative 1 times 15, 1 times negative 15, negative 3 times 5, 3 times negative 5, right? And so you can kind of see that one needs to be positive and one needs to be negative, because in order to get a negative product, in order to get two numbers to multiply to get this, one would have to be negative and one would have to be positive. Two negatives or two positives will give me a positive product. So to get a negative, I would need one negative and one positive. In this, because this is going to be a positive, I actually need the larger of the two numbers to be negative, or I need to be positive because I need it to add up to this. And so negative 3 plus 5 will actually give me a positive 2. So it doesn't matter the order in which I write this, so I'll write the negative and then the positive, though you could write it the other order. Right? And so now when I put this here, this is going to be x, and now it's going to be minus 3, and then x plus 5. So factoring x squared plus 2x minus 15, and again, you could do FOIL on this and figure out that it equals to this. Okay, so this x trick, remember, this is multiplied to give me this, added to give me that. And remember, I'm just getting this number straight from there. The negative 15 comes from multiplying those two. All right, still going. One more example of this, and that is what happens when this is negative and this is negative. Okay, and so if that's the case, again, I'm going to make my x. This is a negative 18, right, because this is a 1. So I go 1 times negative 18 will give me the negative 18, and then I need this negative 7 to go here. So it's multiplied together to give me negative 18, added together gives me negative 7. So again, I know that this is going to have to be one positive and one negative in order for this to work. So I'm coming up with the factors of 18, and you'll notice that each time all I'm doing is just kind of flipping. So it's negative 1 and positive 18, positive 1 and negative 18, right? Both of these, or I guess all of these multiplied together give me negative 18. So I'm looking for the one that when added together would give me negative 7, and that's going to be this one. So this is going to be 2 and negative 9. So I'm now going to take the 2 and the negative 9. This becomes x, and because that's a positive 2, it's plus 2. And because that's a negative 9, it's minus 9. X plus 2 times x minus 9. All right, and now let's talk about how we can actually make it when there's an equal sign, how we can solve when there's an equal sign. So it's going to be very similar. Again, the goal would be, if you remember the title of the chapter, it was x squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So what I got to do is try to make this thing equal to 0. So in order to make this equal to 0, I'm just going to subtract 27 from both sides. Right? And when I subtract 27 from this side, it'll become 0. Remember, I can't subtract 27 from the 6x, so this is going to become x squared plus 6x minus 27 equals 0. So this is going to be very similar to this problem, where there's a positive and a negative. Of course, the part about adding 0, we'll talk about that, but that's actually not a huge issue, or shouldn't be a huge issue for us. So I've got the negative 27. Sorry, I don't like that x. That was bothering me. No, much better. All right, so this is a negative 27, right, because I'm doing the 1 times negative 27, and now this is a positive 6. So I'm looking for numbers that when multiplied together give me negative 27, when added together would give me 6. So for example, 27 and negative 1 would give me negative 27 when multiplied together. 9 and negative 3 would give me negative 27 when multiplied together. And then, of course, when added, these will actually give me positive 6. So this is going to be 9 and negative 3. Now, don't forget I still have this equals 0 part. So this portion of it, I can factor with the x plus 9 times x minus 3 equals 0. Now, thinking about just this part, okay, remember we talked about this is a multiplication problem. This number, think of this as a number, and this number, when multiplied together, give me that. Well, what do I know about things when I multiply to get a product of 0? one of those two numbers has to be 0 in order for the product to be 0. So I'm going to break this into two problems. X plus 9 equals 0, or x minus 3 equals 0. Okay, on this side I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. That will cancel out. I'm left with x equals negative 9. On this side I'm going to add 3 to both sides. That'll cancel out. I've got x equals positive 3. So now I have my two answers. Keep in mind I can't leave it like that. This is a set of answers. So as I come back up to write my final solution, remember this is going to be a fancy parentheses. I'm going to put the smaller number first, which is negative 9, the larger number second, which is positive 3, and then I've got my second set of parentheses. And so the two numbers that will actually make this statement true are if x is negative 9 or if x is positive 3. Okay, so again, it's the same step to get to here. The only difference now is that the equals 0 part, and when I have the equals 0, all I got to do is solve here. All right, that's all I got for you on solving quadratic equations in the form of x squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Thanks very much for watching the video. Don't forget to do the problems on the bottom of the page. I'll see you in class.